afternoon, and I am joined this afternoon by specialist tutor at Glyndŵr University, Judith Cruikshank. Good afternoon, Judith. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
First things first, you are a specialist tutor here at Glyndŵr University. How long have you been in your role for?
About 20 years now. I've worked at Chester University and then now I've come here since 2014, so yes.
So before Glyndŵr you were working at Chester.
Yes.
How would you compare the two universities?
Well, they're very different actually. When I first started at Chester, I was working in-house at the university, and then they put all the support out to an agency. So I was then working in isolation from home and then going in just to see the students. So I wasn't part of a full team. I changed to come to work at Glyndŵr for that reason. So now I'm part of a bigger team and we can exchange ideas with the other tutors or you know, just discuss any issues we have on a weekly basis, which is much better.
So obviously, what did you do before becoming a specialist tutor, before Chester and Glyndŵr? What was your career beforehand?
I was a nurse before in the health service, and then I went into health education. So I worked then, which was Cheshire Area Health Authority. So I did that for 20 years, and then I decided that I liked delivering the health education packages. So I went and retrained as a teacher, and I did my adult basic skills and my dyslexia qualification. So I've had about 20 years in each of the two services, and I feel that often I'm working with students with physical ill health, mental ill health, people with learning differences, any sort of additional needs. And I think, although I'm not a subject-specific tutor, it certainly helps because it's made me understand that some of medications can cause problems with people studying and concentration issues. So it links quite well together.
Yeah, was there any, obviously that's quite a career step from being a nurse to working at university. Was there any particular reason why you wanted to I'd say drastically change profession?
No, I've always felt that I was a very much a hands-on reflector type of person, and I always needed to be with people. But I think it was actually delivering the health promotion packages to health visitors. It was in the 70s when HIV/AIDS was quite prevalent. Then it was that was sort of just the turning point why I wanted to go into education rather than stay in the nursing profession. But I think it's actually being hands-on and face-to-face and working alongside people on a one-to-one basis, which I really enjoy.
So when did you do your degree to become a teacher?
Let me think. It was about 1994, 1995 when I did my certificate of education.
Was it any different between doing that degree than becoming a nurse?
It was harder. And the adult basic skills qualification I did had 9 modules, so that was quite hard. And then I worked in further education and used my skills there, and then I went and did my dyslexia qualification at Bangor.
Yeah.
And I could have gone on and become an assessor of dyslexia, but I chose wanted to be just a good hands-on tutor. So I just did the first part of that dyslexia qualification.
Would you say is the biggest difference of this role you're in now compared to what you were when you were a nurse?
I think it allows me to to become more involved on a one-to-one basis with whoever I'm working with, and also to build a professional relationship and a rapport, because sometimes I'm working with people for 3 years and I see them every week if they choose to be seen every week. So you build up more of a relationship, as I say, a professional relationship, and I feel part of their journey through to when they get their degrees. And it's the most wonderful thing when they come back and say to me, oh, I've got through this assignment and I got this mark for that assignment. And funny enough, I've been asked to be a guest for someone that I worked with for 4 years. He did 2 degrees, and he's asked me to be his guest for the graduation. So isn't that an honour?
Yeah.
That is a real honour, actually. I feel very privileged to have even been asked.
So because obviously you said that when you see students and they've come back 4 years later with their degree, does that make you feel like you've helped them on their journey?
I've supported them. As I say, all credit is to the programme tutors or the subject tutors that are working with them, and also to them that must have worked very hard with their assignments. I just fill in the little bits in between, and hopefully have helped by supporting them and respecting them as an individual and working with them in the way that they want to work,
What's the biggest thing that you have learned since transitioning from being a nurse to being a tutor? What's the biggest thing you've learned?
I would say by actually actively listening. In other words, listening very carefully to what the students want, and to be very student focused, and to respect individual wishes. And also I've learnt that you don't have to have the support, you choose to, and just working in the way that particular student wants to work. Sometimes students will come in and they won't have done any work and they just want to talk about what they want to do, and it's about understanding that you respect that and just work alongside, as well as trying to encourage them to meet the deadlines. But and I think also another one is sometimes managing silence. So sometimes in an hour when I'm with a student, there might be periods of silence when they don't want to talk, and it's about respecting that and then waiting for them to talk.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably improved my communication skills. I think.
This is the final question, but what's the biggest advice that you have for students either at uni or about to go to uni?
I would think that even if you haven't done any work, if they just keep in touch with us, even by email on a weekly basis, even if they don't want to come in, but just keeping in contact with us on a regular basis. Because I think, and a lot of students do this, they're ashamed or whatever that they haven't done the work or they haven't got things to bring. But the support is about sometimes talking and understanding, and it's about looking at the student from a holistic point of view, and addressing all the needs with them, but really just keeping in touch with us, or me or the other tutors, on a weekly, or even if it's just an email, even if it isn't a proper appointment, just keep it, touching base with us. I think helps them, because then, and also the tutors then up to date to where the student is at that time. So I think that's probably mostly what I've learned, really,
And would you say just keeping in contact with tutors is the biggest advice you'd say for students that are at university?
Yes, absolutely. For the student to, speak to their programme area leader or their personal tutor, and keeping in contact and booking tutorials, and if they can't, if they're struggling in the method, that's been worked, or they want to clarify information, is just really to access all the services. And learning services downstairs are excellent. They'll do video shots, and they will do referencing one-to-one with you, all sorts of things, but just accessing as much support as you can, really, because I genuinely really believe that all the tutors, everyone wants everyone to get through. They're not setting anyone up to fail, and so it's just, if you don't access it, it's difficult to know where to draw the line. You don't want to be hounding people, but also you want to feel that we can give you the best service possible.
Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.